Kentucky. How's it going out there? We're doing a quick stream before we leave for Chicago for the Fest for Beatle fans. We leave tomorrow. Some people are already there. Bailey Tone's already there from England. Andy from Two Legs is already there. Mikey Arugula's on the way. Did you check out Mean Mr. Mayo's channel earlier today? Mad Mikey Meets the Don. It's about a 9-minute video. It's pretty funny. He has the Don sings "She Loves You." Homeless Don. Anybody out there tonight? Polly from T-Shirt Express made me this 3D of the Butcher cover. I think Mikey's is clear, but this is solid white. Pretty cool. It's got George there in the back on the chair.
A Little Beatles Corner said, "Hi, Frank and family."
How you doing, Patricia?
Polly Hawaii said, "See you soon, STICKERMANIA family."
Yeah, we'll be there Friday. I don't know if the fest for on Friday, I don't think it starts till like 5 o'clock, but I could be wrong.
Thomas Crook said, "Hello, everyone."
How you doing, Thomas Crook? So you might give Polly a T-Shirt Express. Thank you for this. He sells this on eBay and makes these in his store in Staten Island, New York. And he made me 15 of these shirts in medium, large, and extra large. I'll be giving them away to the fest if you can answer a trivia question about the Beatles.
North Carolina Vinyl Picker said, "Good evening, sir."
North Carolina Picker. All right.
Vinyl Picker.
Did I buy a BC-13 from you a long time ago?
Lexi said hello.
Who?
Lexi.
Lexi.
Them are two new people.
All right. How you doing, Lexi?
A Little Beatles Corner said, "T-Shirt Express is such a talented artist."
He is. What else going on today? Julian Lennon just did a cover of Karma Police by Radiohead. Have you checked that out? That's different. And the quick Chapel Roan thing, her tickets for her Forest Hills Stadium, she's doing 3 shows in September. And they're going anywhere from $130 to all the way up to $5,000 for front row and VIP.
Mikey said, "Hello, Sticker family. Looking forward to seeing everyone."
Mikey Arugula is in the house. Everybody say hi to Mikey.
Flaming by.
The Subway song is #1 on Spotify in the USA. But it's not #1 anymore globally because of the K-pop Demon Hunter girls have the #1 song with Golden, and Sombra with Back to Friends is #2 in the world, and Chapel's #3 on global Spotify. But she's #1 on YouTube and Apple and Spotify here in the United States, and they're say she could go straight to #1 or #2 on the Billboard charts next week with the Subway. If you guys watch the video of the Subway, has 6 million views on YouTube. Her first show in Europe is tonight in Oslo, Norway. So shout out to Ivan, the music man. He's supposedly going to the show. Hope you have a good time there, Ivan. Ivan.
North Carolina Vinyl Picker said, "I don't believe you bought from me. There's a North Carolina Picker. I'm the Vinyl Picker, Frank."
Okay. I bought from somebody BC-13. I thought that was you.
Records and Trends said, "I made it." Danny Goldstein said, "Hi, folks."
How you doing there, Danny Goldstein?
Yep.
Yeah, we sent your 8mm film out of Hassel's Billy Joel, but the contact sheets we do not have back yet that are getting blown up. But when I do get them, I will send them to you. We did get some photos from the Stones. some 8x12s and some 8x8s. And we're going to get more tomorrow before we leave. I think we're going to get the Rolling Stones at the Peppermint Lounge dancing with the girls, kind of like what the Beatles did in February. The Rolling Stones did kind of the same thing in June of 1964. There's a 8x8 of Bill Wyman waving to the girls and the limousine when they just first came to America. And you got Keith Richards in the hotel room and a Charlie Watts on the phone. Not Charlie Watts, I mean Brian Jones. They took a picture of these girls in the taxi cab, these 4 teenagers, and then they all were all of a sudden, there's the next picture, they're there posing with the Rolling Stones. So the Rolling Stones met their fans. Probably wasn't quite as fanatic as with the Beatles. Murray the K got himself in there again. Took him to WINS in New York, the radio station, WINS, and interviewed the Rolling Stones. You can see all his 45s and his albums that he has on heavy rotation. There he is, Murray the K. Legend in radio. Mick Jagger fooling around there at the radio station, got his feet up on the table. And one more shot of the Stones with Murray the K.
Danny Goldstein said, was there any more hassle stuff that you got from the auction and other lots?
No.
No.
These are the 8x12s. You got a serious Keith Richards there. Murray the K with Keith. Murray the K interviewing Mick Jagger on the radio. And these are all from the Les Crane Show. I have a lot more negatives of the Les Crane Show. Bill Wyman and Brian Jones. All 5 of the Stones with Les Crane over here. Charlie Watts sitting down. They had little name tags in front of them for the TV interview. That TV interview, they wiped out the video. It doesn't exist anymore. But they didn't have their names. It just had little, like Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones, like 5 different little things on the ledge. But they didn't say their individual names. I don't have one that shows that, but I've seen it.
Danny Goldstein said, those are incredible photos of the Stones. And I'm the Posh Not Be Like That Guy said, the original Black Sabbath.
There's Brian Jones and a serious Charlie Watts when they first came to America in June of 1964.
I'm the Posh Not Be Like That Guy said, the original Black Sabbath, Vertigo, Swirl, UK albums with large swirl. Every original Vertigo Swirl album is now rare. People want them all. Yeah,
I've seen the grandfather and his son always looking for Vertigo swirls in England. These are my Cincinnati garden photos from the original negatives I got a hold of, 5x7s. That's the girls waiting behind the Cincinnati Gardens on August, pretty sure it was August 27th, 1964. And it shows them another shot of the girls all waiting. They had to sneak the Beatles in through a side door in their limousine. There they are. They finally got into the gardens. You got Neil Aspinall, John Lennon, Derek Taylor. You can see Paul McCartney's head right there. Sneaking them down to the underneath the gardens was a room for the press conference. It must have been a dressing room for the hockey team. And there we got the WABC good guys from Cincinnati. Pretty sure I better look that up.
What radio station?
WSAI radio station in Cincinnati. So one of these radio guys, I'll show them in one picture. You got a Derek Taylor there. mortgaged his house to bring the Beatles to Cincinnati. Dusty Rhodes. I don't see his picture though. John, George, and Paul McCartney being interviewed. There's Dusty Rhodes there with a cigar. So he mortgaged his house to bring the Beatles to Cincinnati, but I'd say he did pretty good on his loan. Another shot. Paul, I'm sure, answered most of the questions. Derek Taylor keeping everybody under control. Ringo must be answering a question. Every once in a while he would speak. And there's the stage before the Beatles went on. If you look real close, there's some sort of Beatles cake right on the stage right there. And you can see set lists and things on the stage. I don't know why they needed a set list. They played the same 12 songs every night, but there they are on stage. And the Cincinnati Gardens only seated about 11,000, but they sold 3,000 standing room only tickets for $3. So there was too many people in the Cincinnati Gardens, and the temperature was 115 degrees when the Beatles went on stage. You can just see the sweat rolling off their faces. And there's an audience. Somebody's got a big banner, "We Go Ringo." One more photo I got is from the same seller. He had some original photos taken of the Beatles from the original negatives. That's Paul and John, 1965, rehearsing for the Ed Sullivan Show. John Lennon's got his sunglasses on. I wonder if they were a prescription so he could see what was going on, because he was pretty well nearsighted. All right, those are my photos until I get some more tomorrow. Let's talk about, since he brought up about Black Sabbath. Kevin from Kevin Records got a hold of me, and him. We're partners on this big collection we got today, and Kevin is going to sell the Black Sabbath albums I'm going to show. But you get, if you look up Kevin Records on Louisville, Kentucky, you can find him on the internet. And he's got a phone number where you can get a hold of him if you're interested in any of these Black Sabbath albums. All these came from the same collection in Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana. You got Paranoid. Some of these are green labels, greenies, but I don't think this one is. That's a Warner Brothers label. Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. It's embossed, the cover. And that's a Warner Brothers label. Black Sabbath. Sunday, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. I don't know the order of these albums. I'm not a Black Sabbath expert. Black Sabbath Volume 4 with Ozzy on the cover. It's a gatefold cover with a little page booklet inside. And this is the one that's a greeny label. Some other ones don't know enough about Black Sabbath. Never Say Die. Looks like it's from the United States, 1978. Heaven and Hell. Live at Last. This is a French import. Live at Last on NIMS Records. That doesn't have anything to do with Brian Epstein's company, I don't think. Sabotage. And one more Ozzy solo album, Diary of a Madman. So if you're interested in any of those, get a hold of Kevin from Kevin Records.
I'm the Paul Should Not Be Allowed Die Guys. I recently sold my negatives for about 20 bands from Chuck Berry to the Talking Heads, Devo, Rockpile, Bowie, Johnny, Ryan, Elvis, Costello, etc. I sold the negatives to the guy who found the Beatles decadent.
All right, the guy in Canada,
Because he's from Canada.
Rob, I think's his name. Got some other items from that collection we got today. Fleetwood Mac Rumors, first press, textured cover, and it's got the insert inside. First press of Rumors, album that's been on the charts for like 600, 700 weeks. The young generation likes Fleetwood Mac. And a Fleetwood Mac from 1978, In the Shrink, Tango in the Night. A young Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham and Chrissy McVie. This was pretty cool. I found this in the collection today. Alice Cooper, first press, School's Out. It's got no titles on the back. It's got the school disc that you can fold out. But no, it does not have the original panties that covered the record, the very first pressings. Those panties are pretty much all disintegrated by now. They were just made out of paper. All right, that's what came from the collection today. Some things that I got in. Today I got this Beach Boys lot from 1966. You got a ticket from March 13th, 1966. A ticket stub to see the Beach Boys at the Sillery Moqueque. I cannot say that. But it was in Pittsburgh. And they had, the opening groups were Noel Harrison and the Loving Spoonful opened up for the Beach Boys. That's the ticket program from that day. Concert, 1966. Brian Wilson did not perform with them at the time. He had already retired. There's a good picture of the Beach Boys.
I'm the Paul Should Not Be Allowed Die Guy. Said Frank, listen to the song Changes from Black Sabbath, Volume 4. It's so beautiful and you will start to appreciate Ozzy.
Changes. I will listen to that.
School's Out original.
So this is, the Beach Boys got so popular, they were like the Beatles. They had to have their secretaries sign for them. So these are signed by the secretaries. Brian Wilson, Mike Love, Dennis Wilson, Al Jardine, Carl Wilson. It says best wishes from the Beach Boys, but that glossy photo from Capitol 1966 is pretty cool. Never seen this before. 1966, it mailed out if you belong to the Beach Boys fan club. And it's got some weird pictures of them dressed up in Oriental outfits. With their hair all, Dennis Wilson's got his hair all back there on the top. That's some pretty strange photos. Brian Wilson didn't pose with that. We hope you enjoy your newest releases. Brian Wilson, Caroline No from Pet Sounds, and Sloop John B. And this picture sleeve came in with this lot. This is a perfect near mint West Coast unplayed record of Sloop John B. That's pretty nice from 1966. So that's what I got in on the Beach Boys today. The Magical Mystery Tour, we've got two of these audiophile pressings in the last week. I'll be taking them, one of them with me to Chicago probably. I got the Horseshoe, the 1973, up on my STICKERMANIA. No, the pink one. STICKERMANIA 2853 eBay store for $350. Record has no spindle hole wear. That's the Horseshoe label, and it's a A1 B3 matrices, true stereo. But side one sounds a lot better too. They've got new master tapes for side one also. Magical Mr. Tour, The Fool on the Hill, Flying Blue Jay Way, Your Mother Should Know, and I Am the Walrus. This is the best way you'll ever hear I Am the Walrus that exists in the world on this pressing. And I have the 1977 that's made from the same lacquers, only it doesn't have the Horseshoe on there. And that's the one I'll probably take to Chicago with me. A1B3, same. And it's made on better vinyl, so it's almost a better pressing than the other one. 1973, the vinyl wasn't the best.
Who's excited for Chicago?
We're all excited for Chicago. One more. This is not a first press. It's a 1977 pressing of Houses of the Holy, sealed. But it's real rare to get that hype sticker for contains the hit single. Somebody taught me how to say that. I think Mazzy had to figure that out. Dryer Maker. Somebody out there will know how to say that. It's got the original band on there to cover the young girls. Houses of the Holy. What a great album from Led Zeppelin. Any questions, Sam, so far?
Nope.
I'll just kind of show some more things and then we'll probably not be on there the whole hour unless you guys got some questions. This came from the Connie. Give me that Connie, the Nave book over there. The paperback book all the way down. This came from the Connie DeNave estate. This is not real collectible, but it's pretty cool. It's a box set for Bobby Bloom. If you don't know who Bobby Bloom is, he wrote the song Money Money for Tommy James and the Shondells. And he wrote Indian Giver for the 1910 Fruit Company. Indian Giver, yeah. They're the ones that did it, I'm pretty sure. Indian Giver.
You're done with that, right?
Yeah. If I'm wrong on the Indian Giver, let me know. I don't think it was the, I know I'm drawing a blank on it. And it's got the promo album in there, kind of like what Mikey bought of the Billy Joel Cold Spring Harbor. Got the DJ Not For Sale, 1970 pressing. And it's got the press kits in there, the press releases, and it even has two glossy photos, 1970 of Bobby Bloom. But he wrote Montego Bay too, I forgot to say that. Montego Bay, you've heard the song Montego Bay. So he was a heck of a songwriter. But that came from the Connie DeNave estate.
Holly said you're right, Frank. And Wink55 said, oh.
Said what?
Nothing.
A couple things. We got this. We got this from the collection today. A Black Dog 45 of Led Zeppelin with Misty Mountain Hop on the B-side, and a cool looking Rolling Stones picture sleeves. They did this in the. I think this was in the early '80s. This was their company sleeve for Rolling Stone Records. It's got Neighbors and Hang Fire on there.
On the potion of Eli Dog Guy said, look for Beach Boys stack of tracks LP with sing-along lyrics and the guitar.
I have that.
Okay. Diego Sasa, what else do you have from this state?
I have a lot more from this state, but I have to get a lot of negatives developed, but they didn't want me to overload them at the camera shop, so I will take more there tomorrow. I got negatives of many British invasion groups, Freddie and the Dreamers, who's the one that did Dizzy? Who sang the song Dizzy? I have a bunch of negatives of him. Tommy Rowe. I got negatives of Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders, and Tommy James and the Shondells, and a few of the other groups. I didn't win on the Herman Hermits. Peter Noon must have outbid me. So Heritage Auctions has an auction coming out where it's mostly about the 60th anniversary of Shea Stadium. They got the ticket stub, pretty nice ticket stub in the auction, and they have the net from Shea Stadium that existed, the full foul pole netting cable from Shea Stadium when the Beatles played there, and the original locker room side screen panel. And they got a brick from Shea Stadium that's going to be in the auction. But this here on the one page, they show the side piece of original seat and a railing. But this here, the side thing is on this chair here. Let me show you. You're going to have to help me lift this.
Obviously.
Watch the table, guys.
So this piece that they show is going to be in the auction is this piece right here. I mean, it's attached there. I can't show it real good, but that's the same thing that they got in the auction.
Someone just said your sound just got real bad.
I'm hoping that fixes it.
Can you hear me out there? He's working on it.
I hear you fine on my phone.
60th anniversary in 9 days, like you said.
Shea Stadium, 9 days. They're talking about a lot about that as a fest for Beatle fans. Mikey Rugula, you'll be proud of me. I sold this and didn't peel this East Coast number 3 mono butcher cover. I'll give you 3 guesses, Mikey, who's going to buy this from me in Chicago. They got a lot of butchers on the wall, and they want another one. And you know who's going to buy it. The butcher cover is underneath here. Chance asked me from Concert Buddy the other day how many I thought butcher covers were pasted over, and what I've read is there was about 60,000 butcher covers that made it out.
Daniel Angela is the guy that buys it. Carlos is his interpreter, I guess you would say.
Yeah, Angela. And
Angela is the one that does the buying. He's the buyer. Carlos is more or less just there to help us with any problems.
Yeah, Carlos is our interpreter because Angela doesn't know too much English. So Angela's going to buy this. He has many butcher covers. He has a whole wall framed with framed butcher covers. So one story about my butcher covers when I was talking about 60,000 of them that got pasted over. Gary Hine told me on the phone that he peeled 3,300 of them in his lifetime. So if that's true, 3,300 out of 60,000 would be what? He peeled 2 to 3% of all the butcher covers.
Dave Evans just come in and said, "Hi, Frank."
How you doing, Dave Evans? Have you played your No Dice from Badfinger, the UK export copy? Show a few more things. Got any questions? I'm just going to do a round, rapid fire showing, and then we'll be done today. So August 8th through the 10th, is when we will be in Chicago on Friday. You can see me and Mikey Arugula. Find us on Friday evening or all day Saturday.
He says he hasn't gotten it yet. Or hasn't listened to it, I guess. Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
said
Surely got it.
He's probably got it. He
Yeah,
just hasn't
FedEx
listened.
2-day shipping. You should have got it.
Yeah.
I'll just find out, Leo.
Show him your Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse shirt.
Stand up or?
Alright, we'll just over here stand up and show. So Uncle Paul sent me a couple of extra shirts, and my sticker granddaughter's got one of them on today.
Uncle Paul, Beetle Pop Playhouse.
Beatles Pop Playhouse.
I don't know if I showed this last time. The first pressing of Meet the Beatles with no publishing credits on the label, no ASCAP or BMI after the title. It just says, I Want to Hold Your Hand and the time. Supposedly 200,000 of these were pressed this way before they realized they had to put publishing credits on the labels.
Dave Evans said, safe travels, Frank.
Thanks, Dave. So that's the way that Sears, because they weren't factory sealed in February of 1964 when the Beatles came to America, Sears put them in that protective red baggie in the store. Sometimes people buy those red baggies for like $30 or $40 because they're hard to find now. They're a little bit bigger so that you can remove the cover from the baggie shrink. I'll be taking my Can't Buy Me Love and my She Loves You and my Please Please Me to Chicago. Perry Cox has a Can't Buy Me Love in very good plus condition that goes off tomorrow night. But this is the near mint one that I bought from him. And I bought a near mint record to go with it. He only sold the picture sleeve only, but I thought you need to have the whole thing. You need to have the record with it. First press of Can't Buy Me Love from, when did it come out? It became number one in March or April of '64. They had 4 number one songs in a row in America. I Want to Hold Your Hand, She Loves You, and then Can't Buy Me Love. Three number ones, like 16 weeks in a row. I said this last time, the Please Me first press from England that has the Dick James credits on there and the McCartney-Lennon writing title instead of Lennon-McCartney. But if you look back here on the other artists on Parlophone, they got the Beyond the Fringe and the Best of the Goon shows. So these were artists, Peter Sellers, that who's the one who played the piano that died in 10 movie? I'm not coming up with Dudley Moore. They were all in this Goons show, and George Martin was the producer. And Parlophone got a hold of George Martin, said, would you be interested in producing this young beat group, the Beatles? He says, well, I'll try. It's just amazing how that whole story came to happen.
So it says it was released March of '64, and then it was single top charts. So it had to do it right after that in April.
But they were 16 weeks in a row. And they were number one on Beatles were number one 16 weeks in a row. Here's the other 2 number ones. I got all 3 of them here in a row. The I Want to Hold Your Hand. That was the first number one.
Daniel asked for condition on something, but I missed it.
Please, please me.
He wanted on the Please.
She Loves You. The Please Please Me is in, according to Joe Hilton's notes, very good plus condition. And its price is $150 if you want it before I take it to Chicago.
And George Music for All Seasons is here. Said hello to all.
How you doing, George, from All Music Seasons? The Beatles were so popular on the charts that every label was releasing something by Madco, Ain't She Sweet, and MGM, and the Swan label, I said, which was partly owned by Dick Clark. And I said that Dick Clark played this on American Bandstand, and I only got like a 76 rating by a couple teenagers that rated She Loves You in the fall. I think it was November of 1963. But that's the first press of She Loves You from September 1963 is when it first came out. First time I've ever had a She Loves You first press original, because there's so many fakes out there. This came from Beetle Bay, Joe Hilton's collection. It's in very good plus condition, and it is $500. First time I've ever had an original She Loves You, and it's got in the dead wax Mastering Reco Art Philadelphia. The counterfeits don't have that in the dead wax. And it's got the thin print with no quotations, but it does have "Don't Drop Out" on the labels. Let's see what else I got to show. That's the three songs. The I Want to Hold a Hand, She Loves You, and Can't Buy Me Love were banged back to back to back number ones in the United States for 16 weeks. I don't think any artist has ever done that before.
I'm the Posh Not Be Allowed Dad Guy said I'll send you a copy of Eaton's department store newspaper ad for the Beat Bar Records and Merchandise 1964 and Ed Sullivan Show.
All right, sounds pretty interesting.
Y'all like my new shirt?
Yeah. Sticker Granddaughter's got mine. Where's the lanyard for that? VIP from Chapel's Concerts, the sound check on Cincinnati, March 10th, Cincinnati, Ohio. They had her booked at one arena, and the demand was so high they had to change it to a different arena. But the VIP got them to the sound check, and they got Chapel would sign everybody that was in the VIP back then. That is on my STICKERMANIA 2853 eBay store.
For how much?
I'm pretty sure it's for about $300. Give me, and if you need to get a hold of me anything about our YouTube channel, about 30 of you out there have got a hold of me this way, Mr_STICKERMANIA at yahoo.com. What else do I have to show? Not too many other new arrivals. I kind of cut down on my buying because I'm going to Chicago.
You show them your cool poster? It says Flaming Pie.
No, I got that Led Zeppelin for the, but it's falling, no, not falling down. Led Zeppelin for 8 tracks and cassettes. Poster back there. Got a couple Kinks albums from that collection today. This is a rare one, the Great Lost Kinks album from the 70s. Got a lot of tracks that weren't ever released on any other Kinks album. And got this, I sold my other Lola UK first press. I sold it for $100 last week, but this is a greatest hits Lola from the United States. From the United Kingdom.
And Mikey, we'll do anything. Like, if we find time to do a live stream down there, we will. It's all up to the time and how we do everything. But yeah, we don't mind doing one down there if we get a chance to.
We need to do one. We need to get Patrice, Little Beatles Corner, and Polly, and some other people involved, and just have a sit down at a table and do a impromptu live stream if we can.
Daniel Castillo said, "Are you making a stop at Navy Pier?"
Navy Pier, no. We kind of go straight to the hotel there a couple days, and I got to get everybody back so I can go to school on Monday.
No, we'll just stay there.
Yeah, right.
A few other
get
things.
back from football.
Few other things to show today, and that'll be it.
Yay!
These all came from the collection we got a hold today.
Oh, is he talking about that Jack kid? No, I mean, I don't know if that Jack, if you're talking about Jack, Danny, I don't know if he'll be in Chicago or not. Probably not. He lives in New York.
We only see him in New Jersey. He lives in New York. So this is a Help soundtrack from 1965. It's the 60th anniversary. And you know the track of Help's got the James Bond intro only on this soundtrack album. And the album's released like the Red Album in the United States. The United Kingdom never had the James Bond intro on Help. That is a East Coast with a small one. This was pressed in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Kevin W. said hello from San Diego. Love the show.
Led Zeppelin, first album. This is
Appreciate it, Kevin.
a second pressing with the 5-digit. This isn't a first press. Sometimes you can get an audiophile pressing on the second pressings if you have the right dead wax. It's got
Yes, it's
And then I got some Rolling Stones album to close this out with that came into with this collection today. First press was Some Girls. It's got the women on there that threw a fit. The estate of Lucille Ball. And you got Jane Mansfield is there. Marilyn Monroe. You got Farrah Fawcett. Raquel Welch. But look who's right next to Ronnie Wood down there. A Beatles connection. George Harrison is in the inner sleeve only. When you put it back in the cover, you don't see George. You have to look on the inner sleeve to find the Beatles Beatles hint. And we got some other Stones album. The first press of Tattoo You, 1980. This is supposed to be an audiophile pressing made in the shade, like a greatest hits. It's got the Brown Sugar, Tumbling Dice, Happy, Wild Horses, Angie on there. And this is a blue vinyl reissue of Get Your Yayas Out. Dave Evans bought the UK first press. I'm sure this won't sound like as good as that. Blue vinyl. Get Your Yayas Out. All right, I think that about does it from Louisville, Kentucky. So I can start packing and getting ready to go tomorrow.
I got school at 7 in the morning. So.
Thanks for everybody checking in with us before we leave, and all of you that we see in Chicago, or all those of you going to the fest for Chicago, make sure you come up and say hi to us.
And I'm opposed to not be allowed to go. Yes, you can send it to that email that I showed you. If you want to send anything to him, that's the email to get a hold of him.
All right. Thanks to our sticker granddaughter helping out, and thanks, and we'll see Mikey. We'll see you in a couple of days. See you later from Louisville.
Bye, y'all.